And you're live.
Thank you. It is 7:27, and we have returned from executive session and no action taken.
I will make a motion to amend Resolution 1475 to amend the effective date of that resolution from immediately to January 1st, 2021.
Okay, we have a motion. Any comments or discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries.
I will make another motion to compensate the interim operations manager in a separate check calculated by the treasurer and our personnel director, Winnie, as soon as possible, based on those calculations made by the treasurer.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. Any comments or discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries.
I'll also make another motion to compensate Steve Himes, current fire chief, cut a check in a separate amount per the calculations made by Tracy and the independent personnel consultant, with payment to be made as soon as possible.
Okay, we have a motion. Any comments or discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay, down to the approval of the vendor invoice payments.
I move that we pay the AP.
We have a motion. Any comments or discussion? If none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. In your correspondence and notifications, you have the issued building permits and the treasurer's report. Are there any questions on those? If none, we will start with the committee reports, and Councilor Chenoweth, please.
Yes, Personnel Committee, we met on December 9th. We discussed the personnel action plans that each of the administrative officers had formulated in response to the questions and concerns raised in the employee surveys that were administered back in the early summer. Talked about how those would be implemented and how those progress would be measured. We discussed the personnel policy change that we discussed tonight as Resolution 1483, recommended that. We also discussed the compensation for temporary assignment, the interim operations manager, and that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Henchman.
Finance met, and we had discussions on the EPD's radar sign. We decided to go ahead and purchase one to see how that worked out. And you all saw the budget revisions that we worked on. We also did the sanitation garage line of credit. We extended that one there. We discussed the employee stipend. We went over the sanitation's fund budget adjustments, and then we made a range for the operating manager's compensation.
Thank you. Councilor Friddle.
Thank you. There has not been another meeting of the Special Hiring Committee. However, after the meeting with the Finance Committee, where the range of salary was set for a new operations manager, that triggered the publication of the ad for a request for resumes regarding that position. And I don't know, Jessica, maybe you can tell me, has there been any response
Yes,
to
there
those
has.
ads? Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next meeting is the first Wednesday in January, the 5th, 10 o'clock.
Thank you.
First- what, Monday?
No, it's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm
It's
thinking of
Wednesday.
finance.
Wednesday
My
the
mistake.
5th.
Councilor Lowder.
Parks met last evening. The biggest thing on our agenda was a new Parks logo. Owen Pete, the new hire, has come up with a few new logos, and I think we chose 2 or 3 that we liked last night, and they were going to narrow it down. So you'll be seeing probably January, February, Parks will roll out a new logo. So I have the examples here if you'd like to look at them this evening after the meeting's over. I'll explain to you which one I think we're going to go with. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Counselor Brosper-Ganera.
The Planning Commission met yesterday for over an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. We're in the process of going through all the public comment that people provided, both at the open house, and also we had people submit comments online. It's fantastic that we got a lot of response, and we were very pleased with the number of people who showed up at the meeting. So we're in the process of going through everything that people brought up. That will push us back at least another month, because we want to make sure that we're responding to everybody's comments and doing due diligence, making sure that we're going through every single use and every single proposed zoning district. So it's a long process. I appreciate your patience, but we want to make sure it's done right. And then we did postpone our rules and ordinance meeting for this month, and we will be meeting at our regularly scheduled time in January, which I'm not sure what that will be.
I believe the 12th.
Yes, January 12th, 9 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Kwanzo.
Good evening. I have not been to any meetings, believe it or not. Seems like a long time. But we will resume our tree board meeting in first Tuesday in January. I think that's the 2nd. No, is it the 6th? I'm not sure. Anyway, and municipal properties will be on the 19th. And I want to encourage everybody to come out to the Cump House this weekend. Please, starts on Friday, 2 to 5. And is it every day? 2 to
Yeah.
5? It's
Yeah.
for 3 days. So I know that there's been a lot of work going on out there to make it look nice. And so I think they'd appreciate a good crowd. So, and I definitely appreciate council members showing up. So please come if you can. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Parker.
Yes, sir. The Public Safety Committee did not meet this month for the simple reason that we had no action items to have on the agenda and did not want to just have a meeting for the sake of it, even though our meetings are exciting. But on behalf of, sir, wearing my other hat, on behalf of the Mayor's Task Force on homelessness and substance abuse, as promised, I with Sutton's help, I got out to you all a report for the work that we've done since May 17th of this year. We followed that up with a meeting with the general public Tuesday evening, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That went, I think it was very, very good, very well received, very positive, and frankly, the turnout was better than I expected.
About how many people did you have?
We had about 25 people there.
Great.
And,
Wow.
and honestly, I thought, you know, I have to be prepared for there to be 5. But there were 25. And they were really thoughtfully participatory, as we had, I mean, it was just everything we could have hoped for, I think. And we're getting a lot of signals of strong support from the public for the work that we're doing. We will keep the public apprised, just as I certainly intend to keep you all apprised. And if you have any questions, whatever, about the document that was sent to you, please let me know, and we'll work our way through those. But we'll keep you posted.
Thank you, sir. Chief Bennett.
Good evening. I'll be very quick. All the EPD officers received stop stick training, and the devices that we previously purchased are now deployed in all EPD vehicles, so that's a good thing. We all know we have a lot of pursuits here, so hopefully this is a tool that'll help us in those a little bit quicker and keep the public a little bit safer. Saturday the 18th, we initiate a testing cycle. As I understand it right now, we have a total of 3 applicants that are testing Saturday. That's the world we live in now. I know the county tested last weekend and they had 4 that tested for them. So we'll see what we get. Good news, last 4 vehicles will be picked up tomorrow and be on site by noon tomorrow. So really excited to get those. That'll be our 4 Tahoes that we've never had before, so looking really forward to seeing them. They look sharp from the pictures that I've seen. Other than that, I don't have anything. I'd be happy to answer anybody's questions.
Thank you. Ms. Himes?
Good evening, how are you guys? So I think things are starting to finally settle down a little bit in operations. We did open back up the glass recycling. I know we had to suspend that for a short bit. We were having some trouble getting that picked up, but this time they did bring the 3-sectioned container, so that's the benefit. Last time it was just the open. It was a mistake on their part, and they apologized for that, so we got it worked out this time, and it's back open. However, I got a call from Ralph, the sanitation supervisor, this afternoon. He was in Clarksburg at the Yard Waste Compost Center at the city of Clarksburg, owns that, and they posted a sign and let him know that they are closing, I believe it's on April 3rd, for this. They're closing until April 3rd. So we do have something to figure out there. We're not exactly sure what we'll do about yard waste, if there is any yard waste that comes in. I know sometimes folks put tree, trimmings and things. I did talk to Robin Dolly with the West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection this evening. I called him, we had a long talk, and he said he'd be willing to help us maybe figure out a location that we could put the yard waste. We did not put the container back because it's hard. The glass recycling's there. We have to keep the gates open for that. So we did not put the container back because if it gets full and then it starts to pile up, it'll cause a problem there. So he and I are going to go out and look at the landfill. We need to look at some things there anyway, and he said that might be a possible place for us to put in our own composting eventually. We could go out and look at that and see. That might be beneficial if this is going to happen frequently, but we anticipate it to open back up in April, but that's kind of a long period. We go about twice a week sometimes to empty that, depending on the volume. So I did look on their website. It says they're open October through April. So I'm not sure if this is something new or they're having problems with staff. So I do have a call in to talk to the supervisor there, though, just to get some additional information. So I'm hoping to talk to someone there at the city of Clarksburg, maybe tomorrow, and I can update everybody. But we will not have the yard waste container until we can figure out something else for now.
Melody,
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but just to clarify, you said you go once or twice a week. Did you mean once or twice a
Yes,
month?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes, I'm
Thought
sorry.
so, I just wanted to.
Robin and I are going to go out to the landfill, look at that, like I said, and then we've got some other things there to look at for the LCAP program, and he wanted to look at some things to see what's going on there, and then I'm also working with DEP to renew the landfill permit. We had a little snag, but they said we're okay. Just getting in contact. There are some new folks and new positions there, so we're all working together on that, and they've been really great with that. So 55 trucks of leaves we picked up. I believe that's the correct amount. I don't know about bagged leaves, but I'm thankful that the yard waste container held out until now. But the guys are finished using the leaf truck to pick up leaves, and probably not get any more bagged leaves. We haven't gotten any calls on those, so that's probably closed up for the season. Sanitation department will run on regular schedule for Christmas and New Year's. Christmas falls on a Saturday, and I think New Year's Day falls on a Saturday, so there will be no modifications in the trash schedule for either of those holidays. One thing I did want to report to you all is I've worked with Ralph and Councilman Lowther, and I've talked. We are purchasing a grapple truck for the sanitation department. Tracy's worked with Ralph on that, and we're hoping to pick that up after the holidays. So what we're going to implement, I'm not sure when, hopefully this spring, a bulk pickup. The sanitation department will start taking that over, and then eventually they'll get special pickups and spring cleanups instead of the street department. So that'll be easier to get those items, and it may lessen, the dumps sites at dumpsters and locations like that for furniture. We're hopeful. I think that's about it for us. Do you guys have any questions about any of that? We'll put out notification about those pickups when we start that bulk pickup service. I'm hopeful we can get into that this spring, and Sutton's going to help us put out notification in plenty of time for everyone with the scheduling and everything.
I'll just need the total amount.
Can you use your mic, please?
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll just need the amount of labor
Yeah,
costs for the
The guys
leave
are
pill.
working on that now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be awesome, because my
When
deadline.
do you need that? When do you need that?
Well,
Nancy?
the application is due December 31st.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sean's back from
So plenty of
vacation.
time. But I need to process a report as well, so.
Is that the only thing you need for that?
Yes.
You can let me know
From-
if there's
from you,
something
yeah.
different. Okay. Yeah, the guys are gonna work on the hours. I don't know that they had them on the sheet. I just got the amount of load. So we do have a
Okay.
spreadsheet we can work up and the
Okay.
equipment and everything and
I can
to
send you what y'all sent last
I
year.
have, yeah, I have it.
Okay,
Mhm.
great.
Thank
Good, good, good.
you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Miss Judy, please.
All right, in your packet, you had a report for November. Does anybody have any questions regarding any of those numbers for any of the enterprise funds or the general fund? All right, if you remember back, for those who were on council, back in July of 2018, we contracted with a company called DataMax, and they facilitated going after businesses who were doing business in Elkins and are able to go back 5 years for business license and B&Os. To date, they have captured $225,247.18. The contract is with that. They get 50% of the revenues for 2 years, and then we get that. And then once that 2 years is over, we maintain those customers and the rest is ours. They periodically, well, usually monthly, send us a list. If not, it's every other month of businesses for us to check to see if they're already licensed with us or paying B&Os. If they are, they remove those. If not, they start going after these companies. So they've been very good with that. Then another business that works alongside DataMax was P3 Consultants. And we signed an agreement back in March of 2019 to look at telecom, utility, internet services. They contacted Mon Power, Mountaineer Gas, Frontier, Telrite, AT&T, CityNet, and Suddenlink. And we've been reaping those savings as well. So that contract was, they split the revenues 50% for 3 years. And so far, they have saved the city $36,294.10. And of course, our portion of that is $18,147.05. Then I got another call from another portion of this company, November 30th, and we're working with merchant account fees since we process credit card payments. So I have sent them payment service networks, credit card statements, as well as global payments, which is where we get our court payments. They have identified a utility interchange program. We are currently receiving the MasterCard program, but we are not receiving the Visa utility program. So we have contacted Payment Service Network. Global payments, we don't do enough business for it to even really wash out with the court payments. But with Payment Service Network, Visa requires a registration. That's why we're not automatically getting that. MasterCard does not, so that's why we were already getting MasterCard. So they are working on a contract for Visa, and this company thinks that we'll be able to save between $5,000 and $6,000 a year. So that will be good, especially with the city absorbing the fees for people paying. And that's all the information I have right now. Anybody have any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Chief Himes.
Okay, I've just got a few things. I've had a couple council members approach me here this evening prior to the meeting, wanting to report about the call the other evening down at Mountain Valley Bank. Best I can tell you, pretty much what was in the papers about what we figured. If you walk down the street and you look, there's 2 grates in the sidewalk. They're not drains, they're air vents for the crawl space. There's about this much crawl space beneath that building, and most of it's structural 2x12s that are holding up the floor system. It appears that they did some work recently there around that sidewalk, and they put some really nice grates in, but they weren't always quite that nice. So there was some leaves and things underneath the building that may have been ignited by a cigarette the other evening. So we were extremely fortunate that somebody was in the bank. I don't think any fire chief would want a repeat of the Murphy fire from 1967. And if that would have happened in the middle of the night, we probably would have had it. Catastrophic is the word that comes to my mind. Because they detected a presence of smoke in the building. We used a thermal imager to check the door frame. The door frame looked like it was showing heat. We started tearing out some drywall, tearing out some trim, pulling the carpet back, saw that the smoke was coming up from an even lower point. So once we got the glue up, we saw wood flooring. We're like, cool. We grabbed a chainsaw, cut a hole in the floor, peeled the boards back to find concrete. So we took a concrete saw, cut out a chunk, beat it out with sledgehammers to find another chunk of concrete. We had unit on the scene in 4 minutes from the 911 call, and an hour later we had the fire out. And with just the construction and the age of the construction, we cleared CJ Maggie's, we checked it because they share the common wall, make sure you didn't have something over there. So we were extremely fortunate. Very, very fortunate. On a positive note, back in June, if y'all remember, you signed a resolution in support of us purchasing a new fire engine to try to get ahead of some pricing increases that we knew were coming down the line. I got informed by the project engineer from Sutphen Corporation that they did in fact implement that pricing increase within 30 days after of us signing that contract, and there's going to be another one January the 1st. So by jumping the gun and having a little bit of trust in what I was telling you, you're going to save about $90,000. And hopefully after the first of the year, once everything is finished up. The ISO evaluator called me, I talked to him Monday. Hopefully, he's going to have our rating done today or tomorrow. I still won't have a result of that for probably another 90 days because it's got to go to underwriting and peer review, make sure he did his job right. So I had my patients tested a long time ago and I'm negative, so we're just going to have to wait. I would love to have an answer for you though. And you'll be receiving an annual report from us. It's something I don't think anybody on this council has ever seen one that we've submitted. It's been a long time since we did one, but hopefully by the second council meeting in January, I'll be giving you an annual report of all the activities of the department throughout 2021. Keep your Christmas trees watered, please. All those months we went with no fires, the last 3 weeks, it's been made up for. We did have another close call Tuesday when we got alerted for a possible fire at the Third Ward Apartments. And what we found was the tenant told us that it was a battery for a vape in her kitchen drawer that had exploded. I wanted to bring this up because in the last 4 days, New York City has had 6 fires involving lithium-ion batteries. One was in an apartment in Manhattan that had 2 fatalities. So make sure you're storing your batteries correctly and not in the same drawer as all your instruction manuals for your kitchen appliances and papers and things that like to burn real easy. Anybody have any questions about anything?
So this is just a stupid question, but,
Yeah.
so the battery just, it
Just blew up.
just blows up?
Well, it was in the contents of the drawer, Nancy. There were several batteries in there. There was a padlock in there. A battery's an electrical component, so it's got a positive post and a negative post, and you get contact with another piece of metal, you can emit a static charge pretty easy. I say this jokingly, but if you want to make sure that your smoke detector battery's working, just stick it on your tongue. If it won't hurt you, but you'll know if it's dead, okay? Mr. Friddle, you have something?
Yes, sir. Just wanted to share with you, I had the opportunity to speak with one of the board of directors of Mountain Valley Bank today.
Okay.
They were very complimentary of the job that both our fire department and our police department did responding to that fire. So I just want to pass that along. Thank you all for what you do.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Harvey was very appreciative last night at the Parks meeting for your all's quick response as well.
Well, you know, I told somebody the other day, I've known Dick all my life. He used to work with my dad at the bank, and I never dreamt I would have been taking a concrete saw to the floor of his office. So.
He said he was displaced at the moment. He said he's never had that happen.
Yeah. I gave him fair warning. I said, Dick, we're gonna make a mess. We did, so. Anybody else? Okay.
Thank you, Chief.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to say something before you start into your evening comments. I'd like to recognize Sean Akers, the Street Department Supervisor, for taking on the stormwater drain cover project. He has worked with Kelly Foundry, that is now reopened for business, to have them molding our own storm drains covers. The city of Elkins actually now owns a mold at the Kelly Foundry. He's also taken the initiative to figure out how to cut cost, and by recycling the old storm drain covers and melting them down to re-pour, he has cut the cost from $400 a cover down to $300 a cover, along with saving probably $1,500 to $1,700 in shipping fees. So I'd like to recognize Sean for that work that he's put into that project.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Mayor, may I make a comment?
Yes, sir.
I noticed that the sign is up on the parking lot.
It is. I didn't want to steal Jessica's thunder. That's why I wasn't going to say anything yet.
Well, it appears, there's a space that's blank. Is that a picture for the mayor or what?
Oh, heavens no. We don't want that.
No, that's where the city logo will go.
I figured it
Yeah.
was.
We want to encourage people to visit Charlie.
Charlie, it'll be his picture and then all the 10 council members around.
Okay, Ms. Sutton, let's get back on track now.
So, thank you for bringing up the parking lot. The sign is up. I walked out there earlier this evening, and I think the structure that surrounds the sign and the sign itself, when it's completed, will look really nice. We're very pleased with that project. You'll, in January, probably the first meeting of the month, you'll receive the final pay application for that project from Polino Contracting, and it'll be wrapped up.
Well done.
Thank you. Yesterday, I had put together, with the help of some other individuals, what we called the Elkins Randolph Trail Conference. It was hosted by D&E because they're interested in developing trails as well with their new cycling team, and I think they're very close to finding a coach. And it was very successful. It was a preliminary meeting from a lot of people around the state, including the Brad and Elise Smith Outdoor Education Development Collaboration, I believe the OEDC at WVU, Mon Towns representatives were there, Highland Trail Foundation, I'll probably forget someone, but a gentleman from the Pocahontas County Trails Group who worked on the snowshoe, making that into a ride center over there. He's been helping us out. The West Virginia Land Trust, the Mountaineer Trail Network, Downstream Strategies, Woodlands, the Depot Welcome Center, and CVB, and then Downtown Property and Business Owners. So, there's a lot of people that have been working on trail projects for a long time, but this I felt like was a really great collaborative effort and a big step forward towards planning and potential implementation of these trails. So I was really pleased with how it turned out. We've had submissions for the Riverfront Development Design Services, and those are being reviewed right now. We hope to have the task force back together in January to talk about that and schedule some interviews with we had 5 submissions total. So all of them, I've looked through all of them, all very high quality, so I think it'll be a tough choice. You are going to start to see a few changes in, if you recall, we've used ARPA money to purchase agenda management software. So Sutton, myself, and Rachel have been meeting with a representative from that organization, going through some training, back and forth with how we want the setup to appear. One of the things that we're going to implement is an agenda item report, and this will be almost like a cover page for every item that comes before council. We're going to start working on those, and you're going to start to see those appearing as we test it out, make sure that the contents are what we want before we actually switch to the online platform. So we'll just keep an eye out for those, and we'll provide information as we go along and take feedback as well. One other thing that you may see when we actually transfer over to the software is a change in the order that things appear on the agenda. This is something that we've talked about before. I think we've talked about it in council, talked about it with the previous mayor. I think you and I, Mayor, have had a brief conversation about it. Just potentially moving some items around to have a different order on the agenda that we think may flow a little bit better. And finally, next Wednesday, turkeys and hams will be delivered to all the employees along with employee recognition certificates. And we are having our ugly sweater contest. So I encourage all city employees to wear their ugly sweaters on Wednesday. And that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions.
Thank you. Ms. Roberts.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have any particular announcements. I would just like to say something to all the employees of the city, all the elected officials. As a longtime resident of the city and as the city's council, I would like to commend you on the incredible work that you have done during this calendar year. We won't meet again until next year, and it has been a trying and exciting in some ways year for lots of different things that you've had to manage and maneuver. I don't know that the general public understands the incredible number of hours that both city employees and elected officials devote to getting the work of the city done. But I would like to take that opportunity to say thank you. I hope it goes appreciated by all the members of this community, because I'm very proud to say that I enjoy working with all of you, and you should all be very proud of what you've been able to accomplish in a very, very difficult year with not really any good game plans for anybody, frankly. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to say that to you all.
I was starting to think you meant it was trying because I'm in office. I'm a very trying individual. So.
No, not that at all, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you. We're down to mayor's comments now, and first I want to start by thanking our city clerk Jessica for covering for me at the last meeting. I also want to thank all the counselors that have reached out to find out, how me and my family are going as we're going through kind of a rough period. But you know what? It's nice to know that I have support here, and you guys are checking up on me. We're getting there. We're making progress, is what I'll say. It's part of life, and we'll deal with it, and we are. But it's nice knowing that I have people that are concerned and asking and praying, and we'll accept all of that. Thank you very much. As Councilor Parker mentioned earlier, we had our task force meeting addressing addiction, homelessness, and mental health on Tuesday evening. And I have to echo what he said. We had a great synergy within the crowd. The 25 individuals that showed up, we're very enthusiastic. And I'd mentioned to you guys previously that we've met with Mon County several times. We've met with Huntington for feedback. They're willing to support us. The comment from Huntington is that we're in this together. They kept saying that. And, Councilor Parker and I, with the rest of the task force, have had conversations about, why is Huntington successful? How are they able to turn it around? And it's because they have great community involvement. And it kind of clicked the other night that we have wonderful community members and community partners that have been meeting with us that want to make a difference. And I see hope for us. I really do. I see the tide changing. It won't happen quickly, and it's a long-term project. As Dave said on the news, it's a long-term project. It's not going to be fixed in 5 to 6 months. We're talking years, and a lot of it's education. It's educating our youth. It's educating and breaking cycles, if you will. We've had generation after generation that has, fallen into the addiction or homelessness or just, don't have the life lessons and skill sets that they need. And it's an education process. But I feel that we have a good core group that's dealing, that's kind of keeping our focus, and then we have great community partners. So thank you, Dave. You did a fantastic job of chairing that and leading that meeting the other night. Honored to be part of your team, is what I'll say. Back to our attorney. This has been a very interesting year for me, obviously. I've learned a lot. I have a ton to learn still, obviously, and we'll get there. I do feel like, I have, my eyes open a lot better than they were before. I've been given some insight on some stuff within the city that I wasn't aware of before. And, Van is a dear friend of mine, and Van said, you know what, it's a part-time job, but it really isn't. And I'll say amen to that. It really isn't. So, and it's what you make of it. It really is. But I'm not wired to do anything part-time or halfway. And I get excited because you guys get excited. My counselors get excited about projects, and that energizes me. And I feel like we have a fantastic energy and a synergy going within the city. My admin officers, I feel like, we actually are on a path right now to make a difference, and I can't wait to see what 2022 brings. I'm very excited about it. I don't want to wish my life away, obviously, but you know what? We'll take that step, and you're right. Our next meeting will be next year. So thank you guys for your patience with me. Thank you for the prayers. Thank you for correcting me when I make mistakes. I'm looking at you for that one, so I know, thank you. Thank you for the public out there that kind of keeps me in check too, to make sure I'm doing my job, Kathy. Sutton, thank you for blurring the screen tonight, so. No, like I said, this is a special time of year for me and in my family. It always has been, and, this is a time for families, so you are definitely an amazing work family, so I appreciate you, I really do. With that said, I wish everybody a safe and happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, and a wonderful New Year, and let's rock next year. Let's just keep it going. So with that, I'll look for a motion to adjourn. Thank you.
Nobody want to leave?
So, okay. All right.